What's up guys, welcome to an updated money making guide for free to play. This guide contains 10 different ways to make money, and they are organized from the least amount of money per hour to the greatest amount per hour. Here's a table of contents of all 10 methods, and I'll include some quick links so you can just jump ahead to any of the methods you'd want to do. So the first money-making method is making soft clay at the Grand Exchange. And you can mine the clay or you can purchase it off of the Grand Exchange. I prefer to purchase it off the Grand Exchange because it's just quicker that way. And once you have all your clay, you can use the fountain at the center of the Grand Exchange as your water source, and then use the GE banks to deposit the soft clay. And you just repeat this over and over again, and after an hour you'll make about 150k, and you'll also gain a small amount of crafting experience. The next method involves grinding chocolate bars into chocolate dust, and you need a pestle and mortar, and you can get this from the Grand Exchange or from the Herblore stores in Taverley. And it's best to add this to your tool belt as it saves one inventory space. And after an hour you will make about 170k. This next method involves mining iron ore. The requirements for mining iron ore is 15 mining, but it's recommended to have at least 41 mining. That way you can use the rune pickaxe. It's also recommended that you have 15 dungeoneering. The 15 dungeoneering is only necessary if you plan on mining at the first mining site, which is the Dwarven Mine. As you can see, there are scorpions in the background, and these scorpions will attack the low-level players if they don't have a high enough combat level. In the top right corner, there is a resource dungeon, and this is what requires 15 dungeoneering. There's a deposit box inside this resource dungeon, and this is where you will deposit your iron ores. So this is the best method for mining iron ore, because it has the resource dungeon that you can use as a bank deposit. So if your combat level is too low to avoid being attacked by the scorpions, or you don't have level 15 dungeoneering, then the next best place to mine iron is at the Falador mining site, which is just west of the castle. In your primary bank for the second mining method, it will just be the Falador bank. So using this method, we'll have an income of about 210k per hour. The next method is collecting ashes from fires. You can use any type of log, however I recommend using willow logs because they are the cheapest, and they also burn the quickest of all the logs in that price range. The best place to light the fires would be at the Fist of Guthix, and you can get here by going through the portal just north of Falador. You could also light the fires anywhere near a bank, but the Fist of Guthix is the quickest because it has a bank right next to where you're lighting the fires. This method is pretty simple. You basically just start at one end of your location, and you light all of your logs as one strand. And then you just withdraw more logs from your bank and you start a second strand. And by the end of completing your second strand, your first strand of fires should all turn to ashes. And then you just collect the ashes from the extinguished fires, and you just repeat this process. Doing this method can have an income of about 240k per hour. The next method is killing wolves for their bones. This is a very easy way to make money, as the wolf's combat level is only 5. The requirements for this method are that you have at least 10 levels of combat, some decent armor, and food if you're a low level. The location for killing these wolves is just south of the Berthope Bank, and you can get here by using the Berthope Lodestone. So the method is pretty simple, you just kill the wolves and you take their bones. So using this method you'll have an income of about 250k per hour. The next method involves drinking jugs of wine and then selling the leftover empty jugs. This method can be rather click intensive, so it's recommended to just add the wine to the action bar and then just spam the key over and over again, rather than having to click each individual jug. Once you're done drinking all the wine, you'll want to sell the empty jugs to the Grand Exchange, and this will earn a profit of approximately 270k per hour. The next method is obtaining anti-dragon shields from the Duke on the second floor of Lumbridge Castle. This requires completion of the Dragon Slayer quest, so if you have not completed this quest, then you will not be able to do this method. This is a simple money-making method because all you have to do is talk to the Duke and navigate through the chat screen, and he will just give you a anti-dragon shield. And you just repeat this process until you have a full inventory of shields. And then you can deposit the shields at the bank upstairs. Using this method will earn you an income of about 430k to 700k per hour, and this just depends on the Grand Exchange prices of the shields. The next method is collecting the Wine of Zamorak. We will be doing this in the captured temple, which is north of Falador. There are two ways to doing this method. The first is to use the Telegrab spell on the Wine of Zamorak, and this spell requires 33 magic. In this method I strongly do not recommend doing because just so many people use it, and you'll end up getting into a situation where you end up competing with other players to see who can telegrab the wine first, and as a result of this competing with other players, you'll end up having a smaller income per hour, as opposed to using the second method. However, if you prefer this method and you don't want to have to get into combat with any of the monks, then just know that you will more than likely have a difficult time maintaining a 600k per hour average income. The second way to collect the Wine of Zamorak is to kill all of the monks, which are level 43 through 46, and once all of the monks are dead, you can just take the wine straight off the table with your bare hands. Note that every time you take the wine off the table, you will take a small amount of damage. Also, since the monks are at least level 43, you'll need a combat level of at least 80 to efficiently kill the monks. And if you're doing this method, you'll want decent armor and a medium amount of high healing food, such as lobster. And finally, the best banking method is to use a kinship ring, which is also known as the Dungeoneering ring, and you'll teleport to Daemonheim. And then while you're there, you can just quickly enter a dungeon, and that'll restore all your stats and life points, and then you can just quickly leave it. Additionally, if you don't feel like traveling to Daemonheim to restore your stats, you can bring a shield or a shield bow and use the Rejuvenate Ultimate ability, which requires 52 defense, and this will restore your stats and life points over a small period of time. So collecting the Wine of Zamorak will earn you an average income of about 600k per hour. The second to last money-making method is tanning cowhides into hard leather. The best way to tan the cowhides is using a portable crafter. However, these are pretty scarce in free-to-play worlds unless you buy them yourself or you just get lucky and there's someone hosting. If there are no portable crafters around, then the next best place to tan the cowhides is at the Varrock Tanner, which is just south of the West Bank. Or you could also use the Al-Kharid or Berthope tanners. And regardless of which location you choose to tan, there will be a tanning fee of 3 coins per cowhide. And if you plan on tanning cowhides for a whole hour straight without stopping, then you'll need about 300k starting cash. So tanning hard leather has 3 different incomes per hour. If you're just running back and forth between the tanner, like I was doing in the video, you'll make a pretty low amount of money, which is 200k per hour. However, if you purchase your own portable crafters from the Grand Exchange, you can make up to 550k per hour, and that's profit. And that's including how much it would cost you to purchase all of the portable crafters for 1 hour. And if you get lucky and someone's hosting portable crafters, then that eliminates the portable crafting fee, and you can make up to 850k per hour. The 10th and final money-making method is superheating runite ore. This requires 85 smithing and 43 magic to cast the superheat spell. And so in order to cast the superheat spell, it's best to have a Staff of Fire wielded and nature runes in your inventory. and it's 1 nature rune per cast. Also, it's recommended that you add the superheat spell to your action bar. That way you can just press the corresponding key and then click on the runite ore. And this will allow you to cast the superheat spell much quicker, which in turn allows you to have more casts per hour. And when purchasing the runite ore and the coal from the Grand Exchange, or if you mine it, you will want to purchase the materials in a 1:8 ratio, meaning that 1 runite ore must have 8 coal. This is definitely one of the best money-making methods, as you can make up to 1 mil an hour superheating runite ore. So that's all for this money-making guide. I hope that it helped, and if you want to see more videos like this or skill guides, put a comment below and I'll make it happen.